I found out through Ancestry at 28 years old that the man who raised me is not my biological father, and that my mother bullied everybody into keeping it quiet for 28 years. Let's get into it. All right, so let's start from the beginning. So, about right before COVID, maybe right at the beginning of COVID, I was nosy. I went downstairs in the basement. I found these pictures, and the pictures was from like my first birthday party. I've never seen these pictures, didn't know they existed because there are no pictures of me as a kid in the house. Only pictures that exist are like my newborn picture that you take in the hospital, and then it skips to like 3. So I never had any pictures of me as like a young kid. So I didn't know what these pictures were. I went upstairs, I asked my mother. My mother was like, oh my God, I don't know where these pictures came from. Where'd you find this? So I sent it to my sister, who's 12 years older, who has a different father. But she's my mother's other daughter. So I sent this to her and I asked her, and she was like, we could talk about this when you no longer live in your mother's house. And I'm like, what does that even mean? So long story short, I ended up blowing up. Nobody told me the truth. No one said anything. So around like 2020, 2021 is when I found that out. And the pictures are just this man standing over me at my first birthday party. He's looking down on me very lovingly. I'm like, okay, maybe, because my parents technically weren't married until 1999. I was born in 96. So I always thought my parents just maybe weren't together. Maybe they broke up. My mother was seeing somebody else. It was the 90s. Who knows? Okay. So I was like, who is this man? My mother was like, oh, it was some coworker, blah, 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 whatever. Cool. No one said anything else. I ended up moving to Dallas in like 2022. Lived there for like 2 years. It came up again because I still had this weird feeling about this man. I was like, who is this man? I was like, are you my dad? I asked my parents. I was like, is he my dad? I need to know, because I heard about Kerry Washington's book and how she found out that her dad wasn't her biological father because they ended up using a sperm donor. She didn't find out until she started doing the Ancestry, and that's how her parents told her. So I was like, I need to know just in case, like, because my dad was having surgeries, and I was like, I need to know in case, like, I'm trying to give him blood, or God forbid, like, a kidney or something. And they were like, you can't give him that. You're not related to him. And I'm like, what? Because that's weird. I would like to know. So my parents were like, no, he's your father. He's not your father. I mean, he is your father. The man that raised me, he is your father. He's your father. He's your father. My father blew up on me one time because I kept asking, and he got frustrated. And he was like, I'm not your father. Now, for those who don't know my father lies for fun. My father lies to lie. He just likes to play games. He's a very big joker. Kind of childish, but he plays a lot. So I didn't take it as serious because, again, he only said it out of frustration of me asking a bunch of times. And then I asked my mother because I found out my birth certificate said it was issued 8 years after I was born. So I was like, that's weird. Like, why? I've never seen that before because I never...
Wait, what? I've never heard of nothing like that before. Listen, I got 4 kids. You can postpone the birth certificate 8 years? I don't know. It sounds a little suspect. I don't know. That sounds like some stuff Mama probably told her. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe back in the day, you can wait 8 years to fill out the birth certificate. But don't you need the birth certificate to like do certain things? Like, I'm confused. Like, okay.
noticed it. But I looked at it and I was like, that's weird. I asked my mother. She said, that's still my father. She said, like, that's your father. That's your father. That's your father. That's your father. So I moved back from Dallas this year. I'm 28 years old. My brother's like, let's do Ancestry. This was like October. I'm like, cool, I'll do Ancestry with you. Just thinking we would find out more about our mother's side of the family because my father's side had already done Ancestry and we knew what their genetics was. I'm thinking it would be like a cute little way to find out genetics. Everybody knew I was doing this. Nobody stopped me. No one had a conversation. No one said anything. I do the Ancestry. My brother does his first. I had mine. I accidentally left mine in my mother's car. My mother was supposed to ship it out for me because it was already done. I accidentally left it in her car. I said, can you just put it in the mailbox? 2 weeks later, I find it in the back of her car after she claimed she mailed it. She's like, I don't know what I mailed. Red flag number one. Red flag number two was when I mailed it. Again, no one said anything. Everybody left it alone. My brother gets his results back. He connects with my dad's side of the family. Cool, fine, no problem. I get my results back late because, again, we had sent it late because she hid my test, basically. I get my results back, and my brother is showing up as my half brother or my nephew. And I'm like, that's so weird. So I keep refreshing it for like 4 days. I'm like, that's not happening. That's not possible. My brother's not my half brother. That's not possible. I'm like, maybe I did the test wrong. So I'm looking it up. The results are saying they're 99% effective and right. So you're seeing what you're seeing. I told my brother. My brother was like, yeah, it's probably just, it just needs a little bit more time. I'm like, yeah, it probably just needs more time. Delusional. Both of us, just delusional. So then we go to, I finally see the results. I see it. I tell my mother. I was like, yeah, my results say my brother's my half brother. She goes off on my brother, telling him how he should have never brought this up, blah, 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 blah. Blames him, basically. Then I go to my sister. And I'm like, hey, I found the results. And the results said DJ, my younger brother, is my half brother. And she's like, how does that make you feel? And I was like, you're playing with me, right? Because this is terrible. I've been asking y'all for the past 4 years if he was my father ever since I found that photo, and y'all have been acting weird. Well, come to find out, that man is not my father. And I have a whole different father. I have siblings that exist in the same area. Mind you, I live in DC. The DMV is not that small. I mean, it's not that big. It's actually pretty small. So you're telling me for 28 years, I've lived within 30, 40 minutes of my entire family that I didn't know existed. I have another grandmother. I have aunts and uncles. I have cousins. I have siblings with children. I was like, you didn't say a word? And I was dating in the DMV before I moved to Dallas. So I could have been dating my cousin. Like, that blew me. So then I go to my mother and I'm like, okay, well, I found the results. I sent her the results. I'm like, okay, let's talk about it. Because now we have the truth. This woman tells me that my father is my father. The man who raised me is my father. She stands 10 toes down on that. And on top of that, she tells me I'm adopted. She tells me I'm adopted and it was a closed adoption. I look just like this lady. Now, mind you, I found out I look just like my biological father, but I look just like my mother. Everyone, my entire life has always told me I look just like my mother because they didn't know what my biological father looked like. But I look like this woman. And my test did not say that my brother was not my brother. They just said he was my half brother, and I only connected with the people that he connected with on our maternal side. So this woman refuses to tell me the truth. The whole family is upset with me because I have brought this up. I am pissed. I am mad. I'm angry. And I have every right to be. This has set me back like 5 years in therapy. I am also on antidepressants, and I'm trying not to crash out. So that is how I spent the very last part of my 2024. And I also have proof, and I will be sharing that as well. Stay tuned.
Listen, now I have all the parts. There's 7 parts to this video. I probably should have told you guys this in the beginning, but I know you guys love these long story times. It gets very interesting. She even attaches an audio towards the end of her mom, like having like a certain conversation with her, and like it's pretty messy. So make sure y'all watch this video all the way to the end so y'all don't miss nothing.
So part two. I know y'all sitting here thinking, oh, your mother, she probably meant well. No, she did not. And I will tell you, relax. You're going to figure it out real soon. But my mother is not who y'all think she is. She's not a saint, okay? She's not nice, not good, not a good woman at all. But my father, I expected better. My father was my favorite person in the whole world. I was a diehard daddy's girl. I trusted him with my life. I would have died for that man. For him to not have spoke up and told me the truth, honestly told me the truth without making it seem like some type of lie he didn't figure it out again because he frustrated or he mad at. He never sat down and had that conversation with me. That was hurtful. That was painful. I've also heard that, he felt like nurture over nature, which again, I never said he wasn't my father. He raised me, okay? He is I am who I am because of that man. Yes. But that does not diminish the fact that this was very painful, this was very hurtful, and I don't know how to continue a relationship the way I did with my father because of this, because now I know. So anyway, I'm gonna show
What if that's why he didn't tell her though? Like I get it. Like you should tell them this. But if he's been a good father this whole time, raising you right, I mean, it sounds like you wish your mama wasn't your mama, but the dude that you actually grew up loving, the man that you ended up loving, like that you know, maybe he just didn't want to lose that relationship with you. Like you sound like you just cut him off so far. I mean, let's hear how the rest of the video goes. But like maybe that's why he was so hesitant to tell you. Plus, it was more on your mom to tell you this, not him. You know what I mean? Like I get why you would put the blame on him, but it was really your mom like job to tell you that. He could just be not telling you because your mom. You know. But let's keep listening.
out of the photo of my biological dad standing behind me at my birthday party. I'm also going to clip the video of my mother talking to me. Now, before I post that, I want y'all to understand I am a child of trauma. My mother is expected to have done something like this. She's not a good person. She's always done something mean and evil to me. I can go down a laundry list of things, but I will tell you this Cheyenne, me, is on antidepressants. I have anxiety and depression. I have PTSD because of this woman alone. I have been trying for years, my entire life, to start and continue a relationship that's cordial with this woman. She does have past trauma, but I do not excuse it. Okay? I'm going to post the video and you tell me how you feel. This is the photo I found in the basement. This is my biological father, and that is me. I had never seen this picture before. It was brand new to me. I knew that was me. I know what I look like. But I did not know what this man looked like. And it threw me through a loop. So I asked everybody, and they didn't tell me. Next is a video with my mama. Trigger warning. It is gaslighting. So be prepared.
And how it's because he said, if I'm not mistaken, when I talked to DJ about this, DJ said, well, 5 years from now, it's going to change. The numbers are going to change.
5 years from now, the numbers are going to change, yes.
Why?
Because they're adding in new data. But it does not
That
change
doesn't
when
make
it comes
any
to
sense.
close connections.
No. Now you want to mix apples and oranges.
I'm not mixing apples and oranges. I'm telling you what happens. The percentages can change
today,
because
how
more
can it
people
change?
are using Ancestry.
Then
So
how does
would you
that-
guys like to take an Ancestry test? So if I ask Dad to take one, is it going to match his? Is what
Ask
I'm
him.
asking.
Why are you asking me? My
Because
name is
you
Lisa,
birthed me.
and you're
You
talking to me
told
like I'm your friend.
me we're not
That's
friends.
not-
We are not friends.
And
We
that's
are
why
not.
you're not going to talk to me
We
like
are
that.
not friends, Mom. I have never spoken to you in a friendly way. I'm
You're
speaking
right.
to you as my mother.
No,
I
you're
came
not.
in here
You're talking to me
and
like
I
I'm
asked you a
supposed
question. I said, I have a question I would
And I
like to
sat there
ask.
and I listened.
And I
You asked a
said,
question. I gave you an answer. You didn't like that answer. I can't help you.
because it doesn't seem like the right answer.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. You was adopted. I don't know. By me. So you didn't do an ancestry test by me.
So if I do an ancestry test with Dad and it comes back that he's not my biological father, then what? Then what's
Then
the
do
answer?
one on me. Then you're gonna see I'm not your biological mother either.
So who is? Can you tell me who that is?
I wouldn't know.
Why? Why wouldn't you know?
Because when they have closed adoptions,
They had a closed adoption, and I look like you and your side of the family.
and who does Robert looks like?
He's not a part of the family.
Robert is not part of my family.
Isn't he the one that was adopted in, or was it Randy?
Neither one. Robert's mother was Aunt Marie.
And who does he look like? His father?
He looks like Keith, and he looks like Uncle.
Who is Keith? Keith is our cousin.
Yeah.
He looks like the male versions on your side.
Because he is
I
a
look
man.
like the female versions on your side. But
You look like
the
on my
test
side.
is saying half brother or nephew. It said 89% chance half brother or uncle or grandfather. I sent you the results. You can look at it. You can look up
First of
Ancestry to go through all the results and see how you feel about what Ancestry's rates of being correct are. That's fine. But I'm telling you what the results say. And I'm asking you again the
And
last
you gotta-
time.
And I want you to remember the answer I gave you because I don't have to keep answering it.
So you're saying my dad is dad.
Your dad is Donald William Younger. No, it's senior now, but it's
Senior. That's my biological father.
Yes.
100%.
So 4 times you're gonna ask me the same
question,
and you think you're gonna get a different
because
answer.
how do you keep saying yes, but the results say no?
Because you're mixing science with, you're mixing reality with bullshit. And I even told DJ, I said they could take your, what is it y'all did? You didn't do blood, you did sputum. So your saliva, do whatever the hell they want with it and give you whatever results they want with it. So
But I would still match my Uncle Michael and Brittany.
you wouldn't match 100% with nobody.
It wouldn't. It doesn't mean. It would mean there would be some type of percentage at all.
But again,
there's no percentage at all.
If today it's 20%, and 5 years from now it'll be 40%.
That's not what he means when it changes. He says that when it changes, it means that you could be 28% Guyanan, and then next week be 14% Guyanan, and then technically you're 14% Tobago and whatever.
Well, how does that change if it's...
Because more people are taking the test.
Right. You would think it would get stronger if more people are taking the test.
Well, then they also realize that the DNA strands are a little bit different. Again, the paternity doesn't change. The ratio of how many, origins you come from might change. Both my maternal and paternal side says South Carolina, but my brother is my only close match, and it says half brother and nephew.
I'm gonna have to research that. Isn't that thing like 23andMe?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And if I did that as well, and DJ did that as well, it would say half brother.
And you'd be in a lawsuit with them too.
I would be suing them because they lied.
They didn't lie.
Because their answers are wrong.
Why their answers wrong?
Because why am I suing them?
Oh, because they're in trouble for lying to people.
Okay, well, I didn't do it 23andMe. I did Ancestry.
Isn't that the same thing?
No, it's two different companies.
But they're doing the same thing.
Two different ways. They're not in a lawsuit because they're not lying to people.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for your answers. All right, let's clear some things.
I'm not gonna lie. Her mama was gaslighting the heck out of her, boy. What did she say? She said, I need you to remember the answer I gave you because it ain't gonna change. This is not funny. It's just like what is, like, look at the gaslighting, y'all. Look at the gaslighting in this. Her mama is not playing. She like, listen, she'd rather sit there and say, I'm not your real mother, than just to simply admit that this is your father. This man that's standing behind you in this picture is your actual father. Why not just tell this grown woman who her father is? She's already on to you. Your mama said, nah, I'm taking this to the grave. You gonna have to prove it. I know a lie when I see one. They start gaslighting you, then she asking 1,000 questions. Now she playing a little bit of competence, like, oh, we don't know what Ancestry is, and we need to sue them. Ain't no lawsuits against Ancestry. These people is not lying to you. This is based off of DNA samples, man. I'm talking about you using nonsense or whatever. But she was right the first time. She is using science. I mean, that's... her mama is gaslighting the hell out of her.
One, my sister is not my mother. My sister is my sister. My brother is my brother. Our mother that you heard in that video is our biological mother. So sad to say, I'm so sorry. I know y'all wish better for me, but that is my truth. Two, sadly after that video, I did end up asking her again because I'm still in disbelief. I still can't believe she's gaslighting me. I did end up asking her. She literally got up from the bed because I asked her while she was in bed. She got up from the bed, called my father over. He came over to the house because he's at my grandmother's. He came over to the house and we got into an arguing session because he told me that I didn't have a right to ask any more questions to her. That is her past. And that's it. He told me to go find out the truth outside of the house because they didn't want to talk about it. I didn't have a right to know. That is also another reason why I don't know how to have a relationship with my father, because that was very painful. Trying to tell me that I'm, her past and I don't have a right to know about basically me. Now, on top of that, because you just witnessed her gaslighting, my mother is also a liar. People honestly sometimes believe her. After a while, they don't, but for the most part, they do. What I believe, because again, I had to find out that stuff by myself. What I believe is that my mother lied to my father that raised me and told him this big elaborate story because she did not want to be with my biological father anymore because they broke up and she didn't like him anymore. And so my father who raised me believed it, and that's why he took me in and changed my name, all that fun stuff. That's probably also the story that he believes now. I do believe that he thinks that if he finds out the truth, it might change his relationship with his wife. Unfortunately, I don't care because that is my truth. It is very, very painful to have to keep trying to build a relationship with these people, and all they're doing is traumatizing me. If anyone knows a way for me to sue them for my therapy compensation, please let me know. Because at this point, I'm in weekly sessions and up my antidepressants just so that I don't crash out. Because this is a lot. Mind you, I also had to go through this through Thanksgiving. I had to sit with the entire family and not say a word. And then Christmas, I spent it by myself because I did not want to spend it with anybody else. By then, everybody knew that I knew. We all had the sessions of arguments that we've had. We've had the gaslighting sessions. I didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't want to fake the funk. I was tired. I still am tired. I did find my biological father. He is a great guy. He's very nice. I do look just like him. I love him. He's very nice. We are building a relationship, so don't worry about that part. I found my father that day that she acted like that. And then right after, when I had that arguing session with my father, I drove to my sister's house in Fairfax. And I found my father immediately. I was not playing. I do not play. I get down. I found him immediately. And then I called him, and he knew who I was immediately. He said he's been looking for me my entire life. So I did finally reconnect with him. We are rebuilding our relationship because he knew me first. So that's the good part about that.
Yeah, her mama did wrong, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, cause I was waiting to see if her dad was a bad dude, her biological dad. Like maybe her mom left because he was a bad dude or whatever the case may be. But we heard the audio. She could have said that man was abusive, that man was X, Y, and Z. She'd rather play the role of I don't know him. Now you can't go back and lie and say, oh, he was this and that, because that was your opportunity to say it, but you chose to lie. You chose to gaslight. And whole time this man has been looking for his daughter for all these years, and you did so well of hiding her. You even changed her name. I can't even be mad at him now because I'm like, where he been? But at the same time, you changed her name. They say we listen and we don't judge, y'all. I've been having a hard time with that, man. I do story times all the time. It's hard for me just to sit there and not judge. Like, what? Your mama tripping. She definitely tripping with that one.
Now, on top of that, while this whole thing has been happening, I had been planning my father's surprise 65th birthday party. I had to sit through the entire planning phase and then sit through, well, not the entire, I planned halfway through, I found out, but I had to sit through his entire birthday party and not say a word. I had to fake the funk in front of all his friends, all his family, blah, 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 blah. Everybody at that party had no clue that I knew and that I hated pretty much everybody. So, again, very painful because I literally was throwing a party for this man. That's how much I loved my dad. So to go through this and to experience all this and for him to not have my back and to tell me that he was protecting his peace, your peace cost me everything for me. Like I'm stuck. My whole world is shattered just so you can be peaceful. That's crazy to me. But yeah. All right, part 5. So I did find my bio dad from a website that I use. I'm going to show you real quick. So hopefully you can see it, but it's called fastpeoplesearch.com. I use it, for dating to be safe. I'm very much an investigative, specialist when it comes to who I'm talking to. I found out somebody had a warrant one time, definitely blocked. I keep myself safe, especially in the DMV. You can never trust nobody. Everybody be lying. So I use this to find my mother, actually. I found her on here, and then I looked up her old address because I knew that her and my bio dad ended up living together at some point. I found that address. Now, by then, I had already known, after talking to family members, what his name was. I knew his first name. I just could not find his last name because no one really knew him as his legal first name. They knew him by his nickname. So when I found his first name underneath associates, underneath that address associated with my mother, I I searched him up on Facebook first. He kind of looked like me. I saw that nose and I was like, this looks real familiar. Then I ended up calling him from the number I found on there, and I found him that way. That's how I found him. Now, as far as my father telling his side of the story, I honestly did not think that everybody and their mama was going to see this. I'm not going to lie to you. I was hoping, but I didn't really think it was. So I don't know how he feels about, coming on here and saying his side. I will ask him. I will let him know. I did put his picture up without his permission. So again, bear with me. I just figured, since it wasn't his full face, it was just that nose, that it'd be okay. But again, I have to respect his privacy because this was more so me telling my truth and me telling my side. I did ask him, what happened between him and my mother. He did say they just didn't work out because my mother was a bit much. She has a very big personality. My mother is from Brooklyn, New York. She's from Marcy Projects. She's from the projects. Okay, she's loud. She's all over the place sometimes. Sometimes her personality is a bit much for certain people. Most of the time, she barks more than she bites, which I think irritates a lot of people. So they think she's scarier than she actually is. I had to learn that she seems scarier than she actually is. That was something I had to learn the hard way growing up. So that's why I wanted to come out here and I wanted to tell my truth because honestly, for I think 28 years, everybody just kept me as like this big secret, like who I really was and who I really am. Just was this big secret that I didn't want to be it anymore. I don't want to be her deep, dark secret. I always felt like my mother didn't like me anyway. She always treated me like that. I'm not going to lie to you. That situation where her telling me I was adopted was not new to me because she's also tried to palm me off into other people. She said multiple times that if someone came up to her and was like, oh my God, I love Cheyenne. She's such a great, kid, whatever, blah, blah, blah. She would be like, oh, you love her? You want her? Here's her Kaiser card. And for y'all who know what Kaiser is my medical card. She would basically be like, here, take her.
See, this is a prime example of why forgiveness is so crucial. Because if you don't learn to forgive and move on, you're just going to take it. This example, right? You have a child with somebody and you end up growing to not like that person anymore. Like you just hate this person so much. The child looks like her father. And now you take that out on that. You take it out on your child because you look so much like a person I hate so much. And that's why the story just makes so much sense. Your mom hated your dad so much that she hated you, in a sense. And if you think that's crazy and you think that can't be a thing because mothers wouldn't do stuff, trust me, I'm living proof. If your mom hates your dad enough and you look like him, you're not going to be the favorite child, I'll tell you that much. And it's going to reflect that. She's going to definitely show signs. It's a little jokey joke, here, take them. Or they always saying, you 18, you getting out of here. Because they can't wait till they can legally just get rid of you.
She's done that my whole life. It's never been a joke. It's always been serious. There's a laundry list of stuff I can tell you about my mother. I don't really want to tell y'all unless y'all really want to know. I have a voicemail of what this lady has said before. So if that gaslighting video wasn't enough for you, just let me know. But this was more so me speaking my truth, me letting the world know that I know the truth, I know who I am, and I'm not letting her get away with hiding me anymore. And that's it. I think everybody should be able to know their truth regardless of how a person feels. All right, y'all. Part 6. So first of all, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody. This has been so overwhelming. I thought this was like a DMV TikTok blow up. I didn't know it was gonna be further. So give me a little bit of grace, y'all. I'm trying to get to everybody's questions. I did make a little list of what questions y'all need to hear, like, information for. I got you. Stay tuned. So the first thing I want to address is the ancestry results. I'm going to show you an example so that I better explain it so you know what it looks like when your sibling basically shows up as your half sibling. So give me 1 second. All right, so this is what it looks like when, it shows up as your half sibling. Of course, I blurred out the information because that's none of your business, but it did say half brother or nephew, and it does say maternal side. It says 22% DNA because you technically share 50% of each parent. So I guess it differs on which side of the parent, which side you get more of, but you basically get up to 50% of your parent. And this is what it looks like. That's why me and my brother were looking at it like, this is not right. And we kept refreshing it because it was weird. Now, as far as sitting through my father's 65th birthday party that I threw, I did cancel it. Very much so. I canceled it. I said I didn't want to do it. I literally told my mother, I gave her all this stuff. I was like, you figure it out. Figure out how to pay for it. You do it. But then after talking with some family members, I decided to reroute the way I was thinking about it. I threw it as a going away party. I treated it like this is the last family event I will ever be at with this family ever again. Unfortunately, you will not be seeing me for Christmases, Thanksgivings. Don't call me for birthdays, Father's Day, Mother's Day. I mean, I didn't really celebrate Mother's Day anyway, clearly, but I was not participating in anything else. I treated it like a going away party. Everybody who was there at the birthday party had no clue. And they're probably just everybody's basically finding out this information just like you are. So please don't beat me up too much. I did what I had to do. I already paid for everything. I was like, it was like a couple weeks before. I was like, I'll just go through it. But I treated it like a going away party. I can tell you that much. I went out. Now, as far as why it took me so long to cut them off, unfortunately, I did grow up in a household where both parents, are big on honor thy mother and thy father. I did listen to older people who would tell me, you have to honor thy father and thy mother. That's still your mother. That's still your mother. That's still your mother. And I tried to grow up with that aspect of trying to be a better daughter than she was with her mother. I thought that was the best way I could break the generational trauma of continuing the cycle of having this rough, evil relationship with your mother. Because unfortunately, I am not the first generation who has had to go through that. This is generational trauma that you guys are witnessing. So I thought in order for me to do it, I was going to have to just work through it. No. I absolutely cut her off. I just want y'all to know. After that argument with my father, when she had him come to the house and argue with me, I told her she was dead to me. And that was the last time I spoke to her. That was before my dad who raised me's 65th birthday party. That was before Christmas. That was before New Year's. I have not spoke to her since. I refuse. I will not continue contact. I have gone no contact. I do not live in that house. I will not speak to her. She does not exist to me. I have cut all ties. I have blocked her, everything. Also, another thing, with all those people saying honor thy mother and all this other stuff, I chose to believe that the God that I serve absolutely loves me just the same for choosing my peace and to let that go. I feel like I was constantly being hurt because I was holding on. And that was my problem. That was something I had to learn. I'm giving myself grace. I'm working through it in therapy. Again, I have a session tomorrow. Shout out to my therapist. It's something we're working on. I'm a work in progress. Like, I'm not this fully formed product.
Honestly, that's a really good point, though. I feel like part of that generational trauma comes from that manipulation of honor thy mother and father. They steal your mom, they steal your dad. You have to listen to them, respect them. Another one I used to hear growing up is like, how you treat me is how your kids are going to treat you. And it's like, I just feel like that's just manipulation. You treat me like trash, like shit, and you want me to just take it because you're my parent And that's a part of respecting. No, if your parent treated you like that and you decide to sit there and not speak up for yourself and not stand on any values or morals of your own, choose your own peace, that was your mistake. My way of breaking that generational curse is letting you know that I will not tolerate that. I have been on no contact with my father for about 10 years. My mom, I'll probably see her once a year because I'm with my siblings. I pull up on my siblings. But it's pretty much been no contact with them since all my life, honestly. As long as I was able to get out and do my own thing in this world and provide for myself, it's always been no contact. I wasn't even raised by my mom or my dad. I was raised by my grandmother. So I definitely feel where you coming from with that. Part of breaking that generational curse is choosing your own peace. And when we get older, if we don't respect our children and learn to make that shift mentally with our children as they get older, as they're kids, you infiltrate fear, discipline, stuff like that so they can understand right from wrong. But as they get older and they already starting to understand right from wrong, it's more like having conversation with them instead of instantly belittling them and expecting them to take it because you're the mother, you're the one who brought them into this earth, or you're the father, you're the one who brought them here.
I am human. I do not see my mother as human anymore. I see her as something else, but I am human and I know I make mistakes, and I did make a mistake in trying to be a better daughter. But that's something I'm working through. Now, as for my bio dad, I know who my biological father is. I have met my biological father. He is not Sugar Bear, y'all. Y'all are funny. That is not my dad. My bio dad did not need a DNA test because if you couldn't tell from that photo that I shared, he very much looks like me. If you imagine my face on a man, it's pretty much what it is. As far as, again, me sharing any other information about him, I have to speak with him to let him know. This has gone farther than I have ever expected. I'm trying to be gracious of everybody else's personal identities, and, because this wasn't, I want to let everybody know my family thing. It was, I just wanted to speak my truth and what I have experienced, especially when it came to my mother. I felt like that was very healing for me. And I will speak with him and I will let him know. Fingers crossed, y'all. This is a brand new relationship. I'm scared he's going to be mad, but who knows? He's a very nice guy, so we'll see. Okay, so part 7. I know some people asked. I will preface this by saying this will be a trigger warning. All of this that I'm about to say is trauma. It is traumatic. Some people are going to be like, oh my God, how did you go through this? I'm still here, and that's all that matters. I'm going to preface this by, again, saying trigger warning. Be prepared. It is a lot. I will say that, yes, my mother and I have had issues my entire life. She's always low-key hated me. High-key hated me. Always treated me bad. Let's start from, I want to say, one of the earlier experiences. One year, I want to say maybe 6-7 years old, I remember her getting mad at me right before my birthday. And she literally made me look up at the wall that said a happy birthday sign. She said, you're not having a birthday this year. And I didn't. Taking away a child's birthday is disgusting. That could have been my last. Another example is my 8th grade graduation. I graduated from Catholic school. And my mother was upset because of something my aunt had told her about something I was doing while she was out of town with my father. Mind you, my older sister was watching this. I was doing it with my older sister. What I was doing was being on Facebook, talking to my sister. My mother was pissed about that, and she cussed me out from Hyattsville to Bowie, Maryland. If you don't know how far that is, that's a good, I want to say 20-30 minutes. But 20-30 minutes of getting cussed out on your graduation day, disgusting. Ruined it. Next example. I was in high school. One day, mind you, I'm from the DMV. I rode Metro. I knew how to get home, to get to school, back from school safely. Okay, I rode Metro. I knew how to take care of myself pretty much. So for the most part, my father would drop me off on his way to work. The one who raised me, he would drop me off on his way to work because he worked downtown. And then I would take the bus or train home because I also used to have after-school activities. One day, my mother decided to pull up to my high school. And she was looking for me. She called me, and I was at the bus stop around the corner. And she's like, why aren't you in front of the school? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I come back to the school. There are not a lot of people in the front of the building, but there's enough. Enough people that probably told the whole school. And there's security. And there's a couple teachers. She cursed me out on the steps of my high school and told me about how I should have been there. You could have been kidnapped. I don't know why you weren't here. You knew I was picking you up. Da 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 da. Cussed me out in front of everybody standing outside at the end of a school day. My mother has never picked me up from school. Matter of fact, I don't even like her dropping me off at school because I used to have horrible days because she was in my space. I didn't like it. Okay, it's another example. There's so many. One time my mother sat here, and so I accidentally melted the seat cover with my curling iron. It was a little melt. It wasn't nothing big. I forgot about telling them. Mind you, I was also in college, so it wasn't like I was a child and I did it. I was in college. I just forgot. So she sees it months later, and she's like, "What is this?" And I come in the bathroom, I'm like, "Oh, I forgot to tell you I accidentally melted it with my curling iron. It was an accident, I'm sorry." She said, "Oh, like your birth? How you gonna tell your child to their face that they were an accident? On purpose. Like, said it full out." I mean, my mother has always done stuff like that. This is not nothing new. Her telling me I'm adopted, yes, it is absolutely horrific, but it's not the worst that I've heard from her. It's to be expected. My mother has never really liked me. And yes, that probably is from the fact that I look like my father. I am my father's child. She's probably upset about that. But to blame me my entire life for an action that you did is crazy. And I'm done. I can't. That's why I said this was it for me, because before I was just trying to figure out a reason why my mother hated me so much. I could not figure out a reason why. I always tried to make her happy. Always did things to make her, like, I always was like people pleasing for her. It was always to try to do better so I can get her praise. I never got it. Again, something I worked on. I no longer care. But even when I moved back from Dallas, I was trying to keep that cordial relationship because I'm like, okay, we're still family. You're still my mom. Even though I hate you, we can make this work. We cannot. I cannot make it work with someone who literally hates my guts because she had sex and had a child. And that child is me. How is that my fault? Don't know. But because she couldn't take it out on my dad, I guess, I was the next best thing. So, again, I am in therapy. I am healing. It is a process. I will also be including a voicemail that I have kept. And this, mind you, this is 2016. I was in college. It had to be sophomore or junior year of college. There is no reason this woman should be talking to me like this. Because once again, I told you, in high school, I knew how to take Metro. In college, I knew how to take Metro. Why are you worried about what I'm doing? But I'm going to roll the clip.
Cheyenne, I'm not the one that you need to not motherfucking answer this goddamn phone for. Your ass will walk the fuck home if you think you that fucking grown.
All right, MessyFam. If you've made it all the way to the end of this video, you already know what I'm about to ask you. What are your thoughts? What are your comments, concerns? Let me know in the comments. I've said a lot throughout the video. Y'all already know my standpoint on it. I feel like the mom definitely has trauma in her life, and I think it just passed on to her daughter. I see this in real time on the daily. So my thing is, choose your own peace at the end of the day. We can't live with this fear of, one day they're going to pass away and we're going to be so sad. No, you're going to be sad every day if you're with somebody like that. And after they pass away, you'll probably just be sad about what could have been, but never happened. So it's like, at the end of the day, you got to choose your own peace, because we're going to be going to that next realm of life eventually too. And we're not guaranteed as many years as her mom got. 65 years. If he's 65 years, I'm pretty sure her mom's somewhere in that age range. So it's like, you're not talking about a young woman. You're talking about an older woman who's stuck in her ways, unfortunately. So I think the best thing you can do is cut off that person. A lot of people might say go reconcile with your mother, but unless you've been in a situation like that before, endured that type of verbal abuse and just type of gaslighting that's triggering to you, you literally got her on depressants, having anxiety and insecurities in herself. Her whole life has just changed because the two people that she respected and was raised to respect and value and listen to didn't do those things for her in return. When it was time to answer these questions, father was like, that's her past. You can't ask her this question. I'm not the past we're talking about. I'm not asking her about her men. I'm not asking how many men she slept with. I'm not asking her who was her. I'm asking her who's my father, because it's not you. And you can't be there for me in this moment, and she's definitely not being there for me in this moment. And it's crazy because it's not really my family anyways. Then my mom rather tell me I'm adopted than just be real with me. But what are y'all thoughts? Y'all let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Messy Stories for more future videos. Peace out, y'all. Until the next vid.